sermon, I want to take a moment of personal privilege. Because I want to thank you. Thank you for this movement. This movement that has kept me grounded, kept me focused on Jesus, that has wrapped me in so much love. I came out in 1981 in Berkeley, California when I was in seminary. There was no closet in Berkeley. And then I was appointed back in my home conference in a very, very, very rural community, Boonville, New York. 250 people in the town, 25,000 cows. And me in a partner. And I went back into closet because that was the only possibility. And to stay centered, we would literally, once a week, go an hour and a half away to a town where we could be ourselves. Except, once the Reconciling Congregations program started, there was this magazine that would come in a brown paper wrap. And it was at the time Anna for the Journey until Good News made us change it. And quarterly, I would get this magazine because this was before cell phones, this was before Skype and Google Hangouts and Zoom. And all it was long distance, and it was a lot of money. So I would get this magazine. And I would rip up every single one. Because I knew there were other people in places as lonely as mine. And I drew strength from that. Well, then I was invited once I became a pastor in San Francisco at a Reconciling Congregation. I was invited to come onto the board, and rather quickly, I think, became board chair. And but that gave me an opportunity to learn leadership skills. And so I'm grateful for the connection that's made. And Mark Bowman, watching you lead and be laser focused on a mission taught me so much. And the current staff for your perseverance. This is not a sprint, it's a marathon we're in, and the way you have been enlarging this movement to this time of incredible opportunity, I'm so grateful for you. So thank you. Everybody here give yourself a hand because you are resisting. So give yourself a hand. And you take pride. You are fierce and you are faithful. And I couldn't do this without you. Gracious God, give the words of my mouth and the meditation of all our hearts. Be led by the inspiration of your Holy Spirit. What troubles have we seen? What mighty conflicts past? Whole wars, fightings without, and fears within. We assembled last. You and I have seen our share of trouble. We've been through what seems like an endless storm of conflicts. If we're honest, the fightings of the church have taken their toll on us. We bear probably every single one of us soul scars from the moral injury from the church which is inflicted on us. For some, the psychological harm has even caused physical scars. Yet here we are. One more time. One more time, preparing ourselves individually and collectively to go to General Conference. For some, we keep coming back quadrennia after quadrennia after quadrennia after quadrennia after quadrennia. Daring to dream, daring to hope, trying to deceive, hoping to be good, praying that the institution that taught us that God loves us with a love that will never let us go, that this very institution will not let go of us, but embrace us and accept us as fully as God accepts us. Now, if insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results, some have wondered if we queer Methodists have lost our collective minds. Why do we stay? Why do we keep showing up? Why do we keep organizing? Why do we keep witnessing? When this church has over and over and over again continued to vote us to the margins and disregard the ways we have encountered God perfecting, justifying, and sanctifying grace. I don't know about you, but I keep on keeping on because this is not WCA's church. It's not News's church. Hear this, it's not a Council Bishop's church. And you know what? It is not my church. Nor is it yours. It is God's church. And as a part of the body of Christ, and as a steward of God's church, I want others to know what He has taught me of holiness, of the sacred, of justice, of compassion, of mercy. I want those children who will come after me to find themselves wrapped in God's love the same way my home church wrapped me tenderly in love of a family heirloom quilt. I stay because it dishonors those who went before me, upon whose shoulders I stand. They paid dearly. They paid the path that got you and me this far, and now it's my turn and yours to make a way where it feels like there is no way, so that young people can take this journey to justice and wholeness with a joy and bring it to fruition in ways that I can't. I am open, and I am willing to be hopeless. Would seem so strange, it dishonors those who go before us. So lift us up to the light of change. Standing before you, looking at your beautiful faces, so aware of this. the ones who spent their lives seeking full inclusion in this church, but now who rest from their labors in the arms of the God who made them. Their names spill from my heart: Jean Audrey, Fritz, Ben, Jean, John, Mary, Fred, Eddie, Paul, and Steve, who are the saints of this movement, who give you the strength to carry on. We're going to come by and just want you to share their names. Let us gather that great cloud of witnesses. Did you know that queer people have been a part of the Methodist movement since the very beginning? I know I shot for. In 1732, John Wesley, while at Oxford, ministered to a man named Thomas Blair, who was imprisoned for sodomy. Not only did Wesley not condemn the man, he worked with his society to support the man in his defense. There are more than 30 entries into Wesley's Oxford Journal talking about Thomas Blair. Even though the support of Blair was derided by others, Wesley never wavered. We queer people have always been a part of this movement. Always. Yet most of our lives and loves have been held in secret. Whether pastor or lady, bishop or general church staff, so many of us have had to live lives in church closets, praying that the church to recognize its harm so we can walk into the light of day. Which is why I find the story of the woman at the well so comforting and so compelling. I know something about the way that woman at the well had to live, and I suspect many of you do too. I know what it's like to live in the shadows, and I suspect you do too. The morning John was out the well at midday, not earlier in the day when it would be cooler to do the work of drawing water. She wasn't there earlier when all young women of the village would be at the well touching base, sharing life together, showing up for one another in the simple but necessary task of drawing water for the day. She came alone. The alienating, shunning behavior from her community plainly visible. I know. And I have a feeling you do too. As a child, I always knew there was something different about me. I know some of you would say, oh, come on, you know. But it caused me to feel an incredible chasm between me and my peers. The ways of socializing just didn't feel great to me. And so I went back. I didn't know the places they were hanging out. And it would have been a very lonely existence if it wasn't for my youth group at the Babylon and Elementary Street in New York. I give thanks to God for my NYF. Yeah. of us came home for a reunion. Besides catching up on each other's lives, singing hymns and anthems we knew by heart, we spent time at the beach because you know what? Babylon really is by the water. And that was where we spent most of our free time. We swam, we fished, we clammed, we crabbed, we boated. And as we sat in the sand and reminisced, one of our friends remarked, you know, we were really odd kids. We're kind of misfits. But at church, we all belong. Perhaps that's why I love the story of the woman at the well, that Samaritan woman, that woman who went to the well, an outcast among her own people, which is why Jesus found her alone. And Jesus, he does the most amazing thing and unexpected. He addresses her. He speaks with her. He has a conversation with her. OMG, he asks for a drink of water. All things a Jewish man would never ask of a Samaritan woman. But what does Jesus do? He dares to be a boundary crosser, ignoring the norms of acceptable behavior which other those who were Jewish, as he meets this woman in her full humanity. And she offers what she has to him. And then he does something even more amazing. He tells her something remarkable, not in spite of who she is, but because of who she is. He reveals, for the very first time in the gospel, that he's the Messiah. This very first person Jesus tells about his full identity is this woman, this outcast, and because of her testimony, others come to believe him, have their own experience of the wonderful Counselor, mighty God, the everlasting one, the Prince of Peace. What did Jesus do? He took the center of his salvific good news and brought it to the margins, recognizing an outcast having the same image of God that he did. You bear that same image. You possess that good news, even when the church fails to recognize it. Don't you ever forget it. There are so many people in and out of church that try to rob us of our very humanity and dignity. Don't allow it to happen. Remember the woman at the well. Just as Jesus spoke to that woman, he also speaks to you, and you, and you, and you, and you. Now, since becoming bishop, I walk into a lot of churches. And you need to know, I never know. I never know. Will this church welcome me with open arms? Will they tolerate me? Or will they run me out of town? I really don't know. And this is what I've learned. I can't control the behavior of others, but I can control me. I can stay rooted in love, knowing that if I bring my fear or my anger, I will only escalate the tension. But to stay grounded in love is to stay connected with God, the source of my power, the source of my strength. And I never forget that. Now, it's not easy to stay grounded in love, but it is the Jesus way. If we want to be loved, we've got to give love. Well, when I encounter a hostile church, which I have on more than one occasion, I know that shocks you. When I'm in the presence of those who fail to recognize that, like them, I am a beloved child of God, I refuse to break solidarity with them. But when I leave, I'm going to tell you a secret. Because this is what I do so that I don't carry the wounds that others try to inflict on me. I get in the car, I turn up the volume, I turn up the volume, I turn up the volume, I make sure the volume is turned up.
Sing it.
We'll get there. Okay. It worked in rehearsal. It worked in rehearsal. You don't know, because I have my dancing routine to have for you. Yeah! Remember the great cloud of witnesses that we called forth. Remember whose shoulders we stand on and shake it off. When it feels as if you will never be able to tell the full story of your life, that you must remain in the closet. Remember that there is one who meets you in that closet and tells you everything about who you are and loves you into fullness, and just shake it off. You have been claimed and named by your Maker. You have been redeemed and chosen by your Savior. You have been sustained and empowered by the Holy Spirit, and no one can take that away from you. No one can strip you of the fact that you belong to a long line of persistent resistors who live into God's yes, even when the only word the church could offer was no.
Yes.
Jesus spoke to them. Jesus speaks to you. As a result, remember, no matter what the church says, decisions or pronouncements on you, you are a child of God. And there is no one who can separate you. They can't separate you from the truth that you are someone. You are family. You are meant to be a child of God. So whenever, hear me, what's that? Whenever someone tries to take that away from you. What's that, whenever? Someone tries to, turn to someone right now, whenever someone tries to take that away from you. Whenever someone tries to take that away from you, shame.